we have begun building the closing engine from scratch, and we're about 1.5 steps beyond being at scratch so far. Jim Padilla is our guest this week, and he has built a similar company far beyond scratch. And we're going to really enjoy grilling him as much as we can today about selling at live events and all the expertise that he has to share. Well, 15, 20 minutes worth of the expertise he has to share. Thanks for being with us today, Jim.
Yeah, you got it. Excited, man.
Cool. So are we. We are doing a giveaway. We have a winner this week of the Sales Call Overhaul. So we're going to be drilling down into this sales call and analyzing it. We've got the transcript and we've got sound bites for you. And so if you want to hear the sound bites, you will have to join the group, the Facebook group. The way to get into this group is facebook.com/Sales Call Overhaul. Message us, message our page to get into the group. Facebook.com/Sales Call Overhaul. We are giving away the $1,100 Sales Call Overhaul. Jim, thank you so much for helping us out. And we are, next week, we have Louis Congdon, who is a podcaster extraordinaire, and he has a lot of expertise in that field. So if you're interested in learning to do podcasting or improving your podcast to do high-ticket sales, then Louis is the one that you want to tune in for. Who do you want to hear as a guest? Let us know. We want to have cool people on, and we're always interested in meeting them. So let us know who we ought to be talking about. Jason?
Wow.
Why don't you get us started,
I
sir?
get to do something now. All right.
Yeah.
I get to do this as if I'm announcing Jim coming into the ring.
Oh, boy.
Jim Padilla, king of collaboration, visionary at the helm, and he really is, CEO of Gain the Edge. So he founded this company called Gain the Edge, and Jim is known in the personal development and business coaching world as the go-to guy for all things sales, and of course, as a powerful collaborator. So they have a heart-centered army, he likes to call them, of sales rock stars, and Jim and his wife, Cindy, partner with top industry leaders to help exponentially increase their online launch and back-of-room revenue. Okay, so
I like all
very
that.
Cool. A little bit different than what we do, right? Jim has created a strategic sales system and a sales force to be reckoned with. His team averages over 25,000 sales conversations a year in a variety of different formats. 25,000.
That brings a wealth of experience.
Yeah. Gain the Edge is the secret weapon of choice for many industry experts. And I think you know some of these names, anchoring over 100 million in sales for the likes of Josh Turner, Justin Livingston, Lisa Sasevich, and Bill Barron. Well, I know those.
I know all those names.
Very cool.
Yeah. Sorry.
Very cool. So at Gain the Edge, Jim is known for instilling into his sales team this statement: it's not what you say, it's who you are being when you say it. Thanks for being here, Jim. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
You use the term power selling. What does that mean in the context of selling from the back of the room?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's really not so much about what most people would think. Power selling probably has a pretty bold connotation to it. And it's really about being in your greatest power, right?
Okay.
Which is all about standing so firm in your truth. Right. And I hate that term, to be honest with you, your truth, the truth. I don't think there is.
We didn't bring it up.
I know. You can hear it so darn much. Right. But it's about being anchored in the truth. Right? We as human beings, we were designed to be in connection. Right. We're nothing but energy masses. And we were designed to be in connection with nature, with each other, and with the truth. And when that is in sync, you are in full power. Right. And it's nothing but magnetizing to all the right people. It's like, how many times have somebody stood in front of you and shared the truth with you in a way that maybe you didn't really like it? Yeah. Didn't feel so good, but you couldn't leave.
Yeah.
Because it was the truth. The truth has a magnetic power all the time.
Yeah.
And so that's really the basis of it. It's all about telling the truth, truth and love in the conversation. And, you get to depth really quick with people.
You get what?
Depth.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. When they can hear that twinkle in your eye, when they can hear that caring, when they can hear that you're really on their side, you're not trying to push something on them, you're on their side and wanting the best for them.
Right.
Boy, you can go just about anywhere from that starting point.
For sure.
So as a back of the room seller, what key differences are there between that and selling from the stage?
Yeah, that's a great question. When I saw that, I was thinking about how best way to frame that is the person selling is the one who's positioning the room, and everything else, that's kind of your focal point, right? That's axis, that's center. So everything else centers around it. And when you're selling in the back of the room, essentially what's happening is if there's 100 people in the room, there's hundreds of puzzle pieces, and you're the one that's keeping them all together, right? You're the one that's making sure that all the puzzle pieces fit. So your job is to make sure that people are in harmony with the message, in sync with the energy of the room. You know, your job is to make sure that they can connect with the speaker from stage and everybody else around them.
And this goes down to every level, even to the physical level, doesn't? I mean, stand here, guide people here, put a hand on a shoulder and physically help them move to a different spot so they don't block traffic. I mean, it's on every level. What are some of the different levels that you make sure your people are addressing when they're doing BOR, when they're doing back of room sales?
Well, this is, I'm not a woo-woo guy, right? Bronx, Puerto Rican, hard, macho guy, whatever, right? But again, getting down to energy, right? If you have energy, then there's also peaks of energy and there's leaks of energy. And if one person is a leak, all energy flows to that spot.
What might a leak look like or sound like or feel like?
Yeah, a leak can show up as fear, as somebody, if you show up and your sole intention is maybe you have no intention of buying anything at that event, your job is to find you some clients, and and so you're not connected to the whole theme of the room. You're totally focused on who's my next prospect. You're not even paying attention. There's a gap where you exist right now, right? Also, when you are in that total I prove it to me stage, you got that. You show up, you're like, I already know that. So you're completely tuned out and connected. You might think you're only impacting you, but you're not, right?
Yeah.
You are impacting the directly the energy of the people around you. And depending on how they're reacting to it, it's impacting the people around them.
Right. So how does a back room person or the event logistics people, how do they deal with that kind of leak?
Yeah, we're in tune to it because we're good at this. We do this for a living. And so you sense it and you can insert yourself, right? You come in, stand beside them, put an arm on them, pay attention to how you touch people, to keep it to extremities and be careful.
Sure.
But, fill in those gaps. If need be, pull somebody aside. If you see that there's a direct abruption there, hey, can you come outside? I want to talk to you real quick. I have a question for you. And just leave them out of the room. And then you can talk to them in the hallway. Let it settle up. But there's a lot of different things there, and sometimes it just might need maybe, just like children, which we all are. Sometimes they're doing this because they need attention.
Yeah.
You walk up to them, hey man, I've been watching you. You're doing awesome. I can't wait to see how this all pans out for you. I'd love to talk to you at the break, right? And all of a sudden they're like, oh, someone's watching me, and then they start. All of a sudden they elevate.
Right. So this is not just back of room sales once the speaker is done. This is during the ongoing talks, even. It covers every aspect. Awesome.
Yeah, my personal belief on sales is that the sales conversation begins at hello. Right? Yeah. The moment you are in somebody's world, you are engaged in an enrollment conversation.
Sure.
So it's just fitting yourself into every piece.
So what should the expectations be for a good warm-up and pitch from the speaker then?
There's probably as many different answers to that as there are. The main thing is really more like telescoping out to make sure that you've got the story arc of the entire event really nailed, and then checking yourself against that arc at all times. And a real pro can also test the arc to see if it needs to be increased or decreased.
Now, this is something I don't have experience with. What is the story arc of an event?
in a simple term, it's what's the journey that they're intended to go through, right?
Okay.
These people, if your event is about, online marketing, the story arc is, I'm not very good at marketing. I don't have a lot of leads. I've been very inconsistent. I may be doubting myself. And this whole online space is blowing up with online marketers and I'm being left behind. Maybe that's the story. So you build that into the marketing, you build that into the setup. So when they first show up, they need to be first aware that, hey, this whole thing exists. And what is your role in it?
Yeah.
And are you interested in gaining a role? Now that's awesome. Now let's go back here and start positioning credibility and help you understand that you have the experts in front of you that should be there, and you're surrounded by people who know how to get you there. So all you have to focus on is relaxing and pay attention, because we got you. And then you start building the sales conversation.
Yeah. Right? Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah. So what are some elements of that effective conversation then? Obviously, you're beginning with awareness. Then what?
Awareness is obviously a massive component. That's probably the highest piece. Number one, it's getting really clear that you have to normalize the environment. Okay? I actually have a resource I'm going to share with you guys, and we'll post up here in a little bit. But it's a video and a download that walks you through 7 keys to ensuring a powerful conversation in a crowded environment. Because here's the problem. When you're making big life decisions, where are you normally?
Home, in the car, in the shower, alone.
Yeah, exactly. With your spouse, in the car, at home, in the living room, on the couch. Not typically in a crowded room with hundreds of people around and a bunch of stressed out people trying to make decisions, right? That's not the normal environment for those people. So our job is to normalize it, because when we receive information in the brain, and it's either in a format we're not used to, or in an environment we're not used to receiving it, we only do one of 2 things: toss it, that is it. There's nothing in between. Right. And an example of that is, I think it was last week you had a call with Courtney, and one of you, I think Jeremy, you mentioned that Jason was from Bangladesh, right?
My little joke, yes.
My brain could not process that.
Right.
I was like, what did he just say? Yeah. So literally, like, I was trying to reject it. There was no place to file it in here because there's nothing like that.
Right. That's what a pattern interrupt really looks like, folks.
Totally. Yeah. So I had to go through my files and find some way to normalize that statement. What did that mean? Okay, so I was thinking, okay, maybe he's a military brat. Maybe was this a joke or was this real? Did this happen? And so I had to find a way to position it so I could file it.
Right.
So then I could move on. Right. And so that's what the entire live event sales process is about. It's normalizing the environment so that they can literally feel like they're at home making a decision with a trusted advisor.
That's a lot higher level than I'm used to thinking about that stuff. Okay. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah. So that's what a pro is worth.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
Now, Jim, you've attended a lot of conferences and events as a non-speaker and non-back-of-room salesperson. What can our audience members who aren't speaking yet do at these events to begin networking effectively? So, most of us don't have a plan. We sort of show up.
Yeah, that would be the first step, is have a plan, right? Which most people just show up. And second is, don't build that plan until you get crystal clear about what is the intended outcome and purpose and focus of the person putting on the event. I don't care if you're going to a 10,000 people attending event or 35 people at your local meetup. What is the intention of the host? What's their preferred outcome? Why are they even doing this? And you need to put in the work if it's on their website, which it most likely is, or pick up the phone and call them. And find out once you know what they're trying to get as an outcome, what is the purpose of this event? How does your presence actually elevate the event? And it can't be about you. As soon as it's about you, you're already going the wrong direction. Right? Yeah. So what's the event about? And then who are the people in the room and what is their journey on this story arc? And what role do you play in that to help them Can I repeat that one more time? To help them. And it doesn't mean they get help.
Sounds important, Jim. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's step number one. And every single decision you make from there needs to be filtered through that lens.
Yeah.
Because if you're of value to my event, I'm going to want you there. I'll find a way to make you a resource. Right. I've enrolled people at events that I wasn't attending because I'm sitting next to the person and they're like, I don't know how I got to do. I'm like, hey, accomplish. How do we help you get there? What did he say on the stage that makes you think this was a great idea? You know what? From what you're sharing, I think you should buy it.
Yeah.
You know, even at the expense of think she could have bought something for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's about being of the greatest use and service there. And then the other thing, and again, I got a resource for this too, but we'll share it another time. But there's you want to have a goal. Like when I show up, the kind of goals I put in place are around how many people can I connect today? I want to show up and connect at least 10% of the room. So if there's 200 people in the room, I want to connect 20 people. Which means I have to.
This is very different from a revenue goal for the event. We talked about that a little bit before.
Yes. Yeah. And it's really important because here's the thing. Every time, like I have an event I'm going to in 2 weeks that we're sponsoring. Well, the moment we sealed the deal, my finance team opened up a cost center and a project. And we will now be measuring results and ROI off of that project for the next 2-3 years. Yeah. So it's not about what I'm going to make next week.
Right.
It's about how am I going to impact that environment so that it pays off in ROI for the next few years.
Yeah. Well, wonderful. Jim, you mentioned that you had a resource for people. And so we want to make sure we're going to link that in the video. And we're also going to get you to speak about that very specifically at the end of the call today. So after we do our sales call overhaul here, we will I can't talk, but we'll talk about that thing. Yeah. All right. So let's get into it. We've got our winner this week is Mark. And Mark, if you're on, then you are welcome to ask questions. And if you're not here, then you can catch the replay and we'll make sure you get this. But Mark got our $1,100 sales call overhaul package for free because he won that giveaway. And Mark is selling some lead generation services, kind of focused on LinkedIn. It's some good stuff. I've talked with him about this before, actually, and it's really solid. So we're going to dive right in and just go bit by bit. I'll be calling for audio clips here, and Emson, our producer, you won't hear him, but he'll let me know if we have a clip for that section or not. And so we'll either just kind of play it back for you mentally by saying whatever we need to say, or we'll listen to a quick clip.
This call Mark should want to buy this call for $10,000.
This will boost his close rate instantly. Correct. Like in the next 2 phone calls, your close rate's going to go up when you implement this stuff.
The number one thing you can do to improve somebody's sales conversation is be on a ride along with them. The next best thing is this. And this needs to be done ad nauseum. Our team has to do them weekly and post them and share them. We do call audits at volume and life changers, guys, life changers. You need to pay whatever they're charging to have your call audited by pros who know what they're doing. And again, this is not a beat up. This is just we're here to give you the best of what we got to make you the best of what you can be and run with it, man. So,
exactly.
Great service.
Yeah. Now, so for everyone that has been just the on the podcast, if this makes it into the podcast, I don't know if this part will make it into the edit, but if you want to hear everything, sound bites included, we are legally required, of my opinion, but we are legally required to shield the sound bites from the general public. We cannot do what's called broadcasting these on iTunes or the podcast. So you must join the Facebook group to hear the entire unedited podcast. Go to facebook.com/salescalloverhaul and message the page, join the group. And the bot that we have hooked up to that page will get you into the group, no problem. Again, facebook.com/salescalloverhaul is how to join our Facebook group. And we will see you next Friday, and we will see you next time around for Louis Congdon, and we'll be excited to talk about podcasting specifically for high ticket sales. And Jason, you're supposed to do the outro here, and I've forgotten again. So why don't you talk us out, sir?
My talk out is thanks for being here, Jim. I look forward to having you back because there's so many topics we could dig into with you.
Yes.
And I'd like to also thank Mark for being brave enough, among other people, to submit the call recording. And
so much fun.
And have us tear it apart. All right. Yes, join us next week, and look forward to seeing you for the next Sales Call Overhaul.
Fantastic. We'll make it happen, guys.